This video is flushing the LogoJET Pro H4 solvent-based printer. With the printer power already on, what we're going to first do is lower the flatbed down by pushing the down button, of course. You want to lower it at least 4 inches. This will allow enough clearance for you to see the solution ejecting out of the printhead. Once the flatbed is lowered, we're going to push the printer power button to turn the printer off into test mode. This will allow us to unlock the actual printhead from the capping station. And to do that, we're going to push and hold on to the auto height button. You want to wait until the printhead raises up and the remote control says head moving. And it will say head move OK. And once that says head move OK, you can go ahead and move the printhead to the center position. Now we're going to turn all the power off to the printer. So push the right button, put the remote control down here. You want to be sure that when we proceed here, we're going to lower the ink basket. So close up all the lids. Just slide the ink basket off. Place it inside the printer for now. And unplug the USB cable and power cable to the back of the printer. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. That's a USB cable. And this is the power cable here. Do not flush the head with these plugged in. If they're plugged in, there's still current running. There's still power running through your PC to the actual printer, which may cause damages. So make sure that's unplugged as well. So now that we've gone ahead and lowered the flatbed and locked the printhead, the items you'll need are, I'm already wearing a pair of gloves, as well as protective glasses or eye goggles here. We're going to use a Super Flush solution, which is sold by LogoJET. That's for the printhead. A syringe with a silicone tip attachment. This will help when you're flushing the head itself. A container to collect the solution, and you have some waste sponges in there. And just a little metal container for the Super Flush solution. A Phillips screwdriver, because we will need to unlock the ink bracket from the printhead. And anything else that, if you're wearing nice clothing, you may want to put an apron on, just like what I'm doing here. So let's go ahead and get started here. What we're first going to do is remove the ink bracket. Careful not to drop the screws, of course. The ink bracket is holding down those dampers in place. So I've gone ahead and unscrewed the ink bracket. And just in case you want to grab some paper towels, let's go ahead and remove the bracket and set it aside. The dampers, to remove the dampers, all I'm simply going to do is just pull straight up. That's pretty much it. And you may want to grab that paper towel in case ink starts to drip from the dampers, and put it underneath the bed for now. So remove the dampers one at a time here. Keep in mind, if you have an issue with just one specific color, you can flush that one specific color. You do not need to flush all the colors at the same time. So what I'm going to proceed to do is I'm going to pour myself some Super Flush solution. And you see that some of the ink's already draining back from the tubing into the bottle, so you will need to reprime that, of course. I have my Super Flush solution. I'm going to set the bottle aside so I don't spill it. You have the container bucket, put it directly underneath the head. We're going to go ahead and grab the Super Flush solution into the syringe. I normally start off with half a syringe here. So Let me reposition the printer so you can get a better angle here of how it's going to appear. When you're flushing the head, you want to make sure that the tip of the syringe is touching the physical post of the printhead. So before you're pushing down, make sure it's a 90-degree angle. Do not tilt the syringe tip or you will break the post of the head, of course. So once the tip of the syringe touches the post, we're slowly going to push down. And what you'll see happening is solution dripping slowly at first. And what you want happening is a fine stream ejecting out of the printhead. It's going to be difficult to see that in the video here because it's a clear solution, of course. But if you do not see that fine stream and you see missing gaps, then that means that it's still clogged. So what you're going to have to do is slowly push down on the syringe and then pull up again. Push down and pull up. Be careful for the amount of pressure you're using. You want to start off very slowly and liberally applying pressure. So pushing down and then pulling up and then pushing down. It's similar to unclogging a pipe drain. And the reason why you do not want to apply too much pressure is that you may, if there's too much pressure, it may damage the next channel. So typically once the fine stream, and you see a fine stream, it's a current of solution spraying. If there's missing gaps in that current, that means you still need to push solution through. Or you can leave it sitting for maybe 10-15 minutes and then try that again. But you want to be careful because the other channels have ink in them still. So you want to flush everything out first. If you have a problematic nozzle, then you can leave that syringe with the solution sitting on that post after you flush the other ones. Ensuring that there's no ink that will clog, of course. So that's the first channel. I'm going to remove the syringe. Grab the flush solution again. Proceed to the next one and slowly start flushing it. You see I'm getting eye level with it and I can see that fine stream. It's going to be a little difficult to pick that up on the camera, so going to go through every post here. And you want to, if you spill something inside the printhead, be careful and do not power the printhead on yet. Now before we get to the right side of the printhead, we're going to put a paper towel to protect that side. So before I continue here, I'm just going to grab that paper towel. I'm going to fold it in a few places here and just kind of seat that right on this right side because that's where the printhead is connected. So remember, before you flush that side, make sure that there's a paper towel there just in case you spill anything. So let's flush the next color. And if you do accidentally flush or spill something, do not power the printer on, of course. Make sure you everything is completely dry. You may want to give us a quick call as well to ensure that nothing is damaged. Of course, we may have you remove the printhead to ensure everything is completely dried. This whole process will take roughly, I would say, about 15-20 minutes the first time around. So I'm going on to the last post now. So for the last post, as I mentioned before, you want to make sure that you don't spill anything inside this. So I'm going to put a paper towel just in case on the right side here, right up against the side wall. And then proceed to flush it. So I'm going to place the syringe over the post here and go ahead and flush. I'm going to flush this out now too. There we go. Once that's all flushed, take the empty syringe and just push air through it. You want to make sure that there's no solution inside the head. I can remove that here. What I like to do is actually grab the paper towel, put it underneath the head, and then I wipe the bottom of the head. You see all that ink that comes out? So make sure that you're, of course, wiping the bottom of the head, push it while pushing the air through it. If you are storing the printer away for a long period of time, more than 1 month, then what we suggest using is taking it's called a head keeping solution. And that will ensure that the print head is kept moist and nothing, of course, dries in the head. And the head keeping solution can be purchased directly from us as well. And it's basically taking the solution, which is the head keeping solution, and after you push air through it, ejecting that into the head, and then then removing the syringe. So once you've gone ahead and pushed air through all the posts, you can then reprime the dampers. So to reprime the dampers here, I would have to first put the ink basket back on the arm. So let's go ahead and do that. Because if you have the ink basket down, it's not going to prime the dampers correctly. So have the ink basket on, open up the lids, grab the syringe, and we'll start with the yellow. See that's primed? Go ahead, seat that back on the post here. And there is a little clip at the front of the printer, but yours may be broken. That's fine. It's simply, it's supposed to position it in place, but of course we have the ink bracket, and that serves that purpose. And you see how everything is reprimed. When I'm seating the damper back on, it does not clip in place or lock in place. And it looks like I have to reprime all the dampers. You want at least 30%, there you go, of ink into that damper, of course. And this one already has ink, so I'm not going to pull any more through. Same thing with the black, so let's put that back on here. Now we're going to put all our materials aside. Before we power the printer on, we've got to put the ink bracket back on. I'm just going to take my gloves off. So we've got the ink bracket. Make sure everything's level, of course. If it's not level, that means one of the dampers is not seated correctly. And I just dropped the screw inside the printer. So if you have a magnetic screw or magnetic screwdriver, you can grab that screw again. So be careful not to drop that screw. So I'll hold that down, screw that back in place. Same thing for the other side. Now, if you're storing the printer away, of course, you're not going to reprime all of this. But if you're flushing and clogging the printer, then of course you're going to walk through this procedure. Once that's done, park the print head back over the top. You can then proceed to power the printer back on, run a head clean command, and then another nozzle check.